Hi, welcome back to Focal Point, AFR Talk. Brian Fisher is my name. Great to have you in the conversation. Don't forget, got Christmas coming up. Now's the time to think ahead. Get your 2013 Christmas buttons. The phrase on the buttons, "A light has dawned," inspired by Isaiah 9:2. The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who dwelt in a land of deep darkness, on them has light shone, a reference to the coming of the light of the world, Jesus Christ. You can call 877-927-4917, 877-927-4917, or go to afastore.net. Wear them and share them. They're beautifully designed buttons. Every one is virtually a work of art. They're great buttons. You can get them in packs of 10. The price includes shipping and handling. We sent out over 500,000 of these last year, so let's do it again. An opportunity for you to wear them and share them and get the message of Christmas out everywhere you go between now and Christmas. Now, one of the things that President Obama has said, he said, look, there's absolutely no evidence. No evidence. It's just all anecdotal. Jay Carney saying it's just a bunch of stories out there about Obamacare having an impact on the economy and on jobs. Well, here is Investors Business Daily, and paragraph 2 of this story. They've got pages. This is 8 pages. 8 pages. I didn't print it out, but I looked through it. 8 pages, a list of businesses that have cut hours and cut jobs because of Obamacare. 313 businesses and 200 college campuses. 200 colleges have cut hours or cut jobs. 313 employers have cut hours or cut jobs because of Obamacare. Now let's grab clip number 7. This is Mort Zuckerman, businessman in his own right, owner of U.S. News and World Report, and listen to what he says about the impact of Obamacare on the economy.
More crews on Obamacare.
When you have a law that is killing jobs, when you have a law that is hammering small businesses, when you have a law that is forcing people into part-time work, into working 29 hours a week, when you have a law that is causing skyrocketing insurance premiums, when you have a law that is causing more and more people to lose their health insurance, you have a law that's not working. You have a train wreck.
Question, Mort Zuckerman, is Cruz right?
Well, I checked with the Bureau of Labor Statistics just this very day, and they said that 88% of the jobs that have been created this year are part-time jobs. A large part of the reason for that number of part-time jobs, which is unprecedented in American history, is because people are apprehensive about the impact of Obamacare and the costs of Obamacare on full-time jobs. If they're part-time jobs, they don't qualify under Obamacare. Now, I happen to support national medical services, national medical care, but we have to do something about its effect on the job market, because this is a disaster for the average American family.
It is a disaster for the average American family. That's a businessman speaking. 88% of the jobs that have been created this year are part-time jobs. Why are they part-time? Because of Obamacare. Because of all of the complications for businesses if they have somebody on the payroll for more than 30 hours a week. It's just an absolute bald-faced lie that this is not impacting the economy and not impacting jobs. And realize the government doesn't shut down on the government shutdown. If you call your congressman's office today, you're going to hear, do you really want to shut government down? Or is that really what you want to do? Do you really want to do that? And just tell them, look, I know that most of the federal workforce continues to be paid, and that the ones that do get furloughed are getting a paid vacation. That's what you tell them. They're going to be made whole. There's never been a time when a federal government, a worker got furloughed who didn't get all of his back pay. This is a paid vacation for them. I mean, the people that ought to be ticked off here are the people that don't get furloughed in a shutdown, because they have to work for their money. The people that are furloughed get to sit home and watch ESPN all day and then get their back pay in one lump sum. It's a paid vacation for them. So don't feel sorry for the federal workers that get furloughed. This is a paid vacation for them. The people that you ought to feel sorry for are the people that are not furloughed, that have to keep right on working. So don't let them fool you. Don't let them try to convince you that this is a disaster for the federal workforce. It's a paid vacation for them. And it's not a disaster for the economy. I'm looking at a story here, dailycaller.com. The U.S. economy boomed during the 1995 and 1996 shutdown. Tim Kavanaugh, every major economic indicator in the United States improved during and after the Clinton-era government shutdown that has dominated news analysis columns throughout the defund Obamacare debate. Everybody's talking about 95, 96. It was a disaster. It was horrible. It was terrible for the Republicans. It was not. The Republicans picked up 2 Senate seats in 96. They retained control of the House, and they got a balanced budget and welfare reform out of the government shutdown. It was not a disaster for the Republicans. They lost the presidential election in 96 because of Bob Dole. They didn't lose it because of the shutdown. They lost it because they ran a Mitt Romney. They lost it because they ran a John McCain, who did not excite the base. So back to the Daily Caller. Although the spending gaps that occurred from November 95 to January 96 are depicted almost unanimously by politicians and the establishment media as disasters for the United States, in fact, the so-called shutdowns, during which a portion, I repeat, a portion of government spending was temporarily reduced, did no discernible damage to the American economy and may have boosted the financial well-being of the American people. Despite the greatly ballyhooed furloughs of government, that's a great word, by the way, ballyhooed. Feel free to use that during the rest of your day. Despite the greatly ballyhooed furloughs of government employees, unemployment stayed even at 5.6% during November 1995, the period of the first spending gap, which ended when a deal cut by President Bill Clinton and Republican legislators allowed government to stay funded at 75%. Unemployment actually dropped to 5.5% during the second spending gap, which was more complete than the first. Unemployment continued to plummet in the months following the shutdown, as a hamstrung Clinton allowed the rate of government spending increases to slow and headed toward the eventual budget surpluses that became the highlight of Clinton's legacy. Unemployment dropped 0.5 percentage point within a year of the first shutdown and had dipped below 5% by the spring of 1997. In other words, the government shutdown in 1995 and 96 was good for the economy. It was good for welfare reform. It was good for a balanced budget, and it was good for unemployment. If Obama wants to shut it down, I say let him shut it down. Turns out, by the way, one of the reasons he may not want it to shut down, a U.S. government shutdown means President Barack Obama will have fewer people to cook meals, do the laundry, clean the floors, or change the light bulbs. According to a White House contingency plan, about 3/4 of the president's 1,701 person staff would be sent home. Can you believe it? We have a presidential staff in the White House of 1,700 people. What do these people do all day? Maybe they're down in the bowling alley polishing the bowling balls or polishing the pins. 1,700 people work on President Obama's staff. What in the world do these people do all day? 3/4 of them would be furloughed. I'd say if he wants to shut it down, let him shut it down. And by the way, it's been kind of a heartburn for a lot of people in government because you have to identify the people that are essential. And the people that are being labeled as non-essential, they're not real happy about that. It's the non-essential people that are going to go home. Back in 2011, the Obama administration estimated that 800,000 of the 2.1 million employees in the federal workforce would be furloughed. So that's less than half. It's a paid vacation for them. But they resent the fact that they're being labeled non-essential. But listen to that just for a second. I mean, parse that out for a second. President Obama, the Obama administration said in 2011 that if we go on a shutdown, that this means that all non-essential people will be furloughed. And what that means is 800,000 people out of our 2.1 million workers are going to be furloughed. So what does that tell you? We have 800,000 people, 800 into 2 point, that's 40%. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 40% of the federal workforce that President Obama himself says are non-essential. They are non-essential to essential government functions. We don't need them for the critical functions of the federal government. So I ask you this question, why are we paying them in the first place? We don't want anybody that is not essential to the critical functions of government on the federal payroll, because that money, every dollar that they get, comes out of our wallets. It has to be taken from us first. Federal government doesn't generate any income. It produces no wealth. It creates no assets, none. So every dollar that's spent paying these people that, by President Obama's admission, are not essential, every dollar they get comes out of our wallets. We do not want anybody that's non-essential being paid in the first place. And if you call your representative's office today, do not forget to remind them that you know that they are getting a waiver on Obamacare, that the people that work for Congress, the staff members, the senators, the representatives, you let them know that you know that they are getting a waiver on Obamacare that you're not getting, and that you know this. You know that they're getting a waiver that you don't get, and that you're not happy about that, and you do not want them to fold on Obamacare. Do not fold on defunding Obamacare. Don't fold, defund. That's the message to Washington. Call your congressman, 202-224-3121, 202-224-3121. Don't fold, defund Obamacare. Back in 2.
Life, love, and family.
Dr. Tim Clinton, president of the nearly 50,000-member American Association of Christian Counselors, takes on life's tough issues with clinical insight and biblical wisdom. Expert guests, real and relevant talk. Life, love, and family. Evenings at 6:30 Central on AFR. Listen to past shows and learn more at lifeloveandfamily.net.
Life, love, and family with Dr. Tim Clinton.
Recently, we were leaving one of those big box stores and stopped to let the lady mark our receipt when I noticed an AFA Christmas button pinned to her vest. It wasn't even close to Christmas, but the message is timeless. When you wear them and share them with others, you never know where or when you'll make an impact. Now is the time to get your AFA Christmas buttons and let others know a light has dawned. Stop by afastore.net or call 877-927-4917. 877-927-4917.
There's nothing like being a Share-a-thon volunteer.
You come here to volunteer, but what you get is so much more in return.
It's just been a great blessing to meet people from all over the country.
I'm just so overwhelmed at the opportunity to get to know more people in our family.
Our fall Share-a-thon is coming up October 22nd through the 24th in Tupelo, Mississippi, and we'd love for you to join us in answering phones. To sign up, simply call 800-326-4543, extension 204 during normal business hours.
It's been such a blessing to hear people call in. The DJs have spoken a word or prayed in something that they said God used it to minister to their heart.
It's great to be here. I encourage anyone and everyone that listens to take some time out and just come and be a part of it. It's a great experience.
Call 800-326-4543, extension 204 during normal business hours, or visit afr.net.
AFR Talk.
You're listening to Focal Point with Brian